Hey everybody, my name is Jeeves. I'm an old composer here at the World Music Reaction and Review channel, and I have been fully 100% and honorably consumed by the fan base of video game OST players. No, video game players that all love original soundtrack music. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And I can't tell you how fun this is, how grateful I am that I get to do what I do and have done for a living and be able to kind of pull back layers of music in a capacity in which I can enjoy the comments and the feedback from, you know, the video game players. And it's such a very unique movement here for me compared to, you know, songs that I listen to or my heavy metal channel with almost 250,000 people on it, where it's songs and it's broken down based on, you know, very unique compositions, musicianship, and everything. This is completely different. And so I just feel very grateful, stoked, pumped, and honored that I get to, you know, continue on this journey, and I want to thank you for that. And speaking of that, I am starting to get really bombed on the suggestions, so thanks for being patient. I also do other music on this channel other than video games, OSTs and stuff, as you can see. So, you know, in between that, and you might see me drift around and also do some songs as well, because that's what this was, this channel was started on in the first place. Okay. I want to thank you very much for your support. If you see any advertisement, it does not monetize this channel. So if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, all the links for that and Patreon and stuff are down below. All right, so I forgot to tell you what I was doing up front because I was just so pumped about being able to do what I do. This is Witcher 3. Now this is the theme, I believe. I had to look it up a few times because I got a link, but the link said this is a theme, but it doesn't say that in some of the playlists. So this one is actually called excuse me, sorry. This one is called The Trail, which I think is the theme. You guys tell me. And so let's do this. This is The Trail, or the theme, from The Witcher 3. All right. All right, I got to stop somewhere, and I didn't want to, but I just find this absolutely wonderful, how powerful this track can be without a full-blown orchestration behind it. And when I mean that, I'm talking about utilizing all the sections of an orchestra, yet this still evokes some really dark, heavy power. Obviously, we have those big storm drums, or whatever the drums that the composer decided to use, bringing in that very big bottom, you know, the banging part of what sounds, once again, like an Eastern European kind of vibe. So far, one of the things that I've noticed is a trend, and maybe I obviously haven't listened to anywhere near enough to really make any kind of, you know, judgment, if you would, is that everything seems to have this kind of 1, 2, 3, kind of a swing to it. You know, a Pirates of the Caribbean, a Nordic, a Viking, a kind of vibe to it and stuff. But I love the instruments that are being used, that are string instruments, and that's what's unique about this. I don't know what those instruments are, so perhaps for wherever the composer's from, there's a series of cultural instruments that kind of, from different areas in Europe and stuff. They are string instruments, but named differently, but they may sound the same as others slightly. I love the fact that in the mix, those are still very present, along with, even when the power comes in, you could still hear you may not be able to hear the notes per se of everything that's happening or where they're coming into a strum, but I've said this many times, how wonderful the picking hand strumming against it acts as a percussive part of the arrangement. You might not be able to hear the full chord that's being played or the full note. It could be happening in unison, which means, in the same time, but you hear that. I love the blend of the vocals, which is, maybe this is a unique language, another one of those videos that have its own language. I don't know. You guys tell me. And the fact that thus far, what I've heard support some of the more powerful parts of that vocal arrangement is a lowered brass section, like a swelling, let's say French horn kind of section, brass section behind it, but it's not overtaking. And I like the fact that there's power through space. There's a lot of space in this. Like I opened up this little comment with the fact that there's just not this huge bombastic orchestral presence, yet this is just as powerful. And because there's space in the arrangements and stuff, it gives room for you to kind of resettle and coil back. And then, a little bit of that tension pull back and that, chaos and then, kind of a breathing thing. So, all right, let's listen to the rest of this. Wow, that was super, super badass. And I'll tell you a couple more things that I love about this. A very unique percussion that's going out there, going along with the bigger storm drums or tuned timpanis or whatever the composer's using there. There's other percussive arrangements in there that have this. Once again, it's pure European. It could be Middle Eastern also vibe coming across. I don't have anywhere near the knowledge to be able to hear an instrument and say, oh, that's a blah, 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 blah. But I love the fact that that's kind of, built into the percussion part of the arrangement. The pattern, when I came back in, there's a pattern that is being repeated with the melody and stuff. But what I love is that pattern is staying nice and tight, but the bottom end is shifting and moving. So for musicians, that would be a change in the bass note or of, let's say, a chord, like if it was, I don't know, A over G, you still stay on the A, and then that G will go to, to an F and to another one, but yet the core of the chord is still intact. So you're hearing this melody that's swimming and keeping you kind of tuned into what's going on, but then the bottom changes the darkness of each one of those changes a little bit of the darkness, and it gives you a little hope and keeps pulling back and forth and stuff like that. But my big takeaway from this is the minimalistic use of power in the arrangement and composition with space was very powerful, if that made sense. You know what I'm saying? And because I don't know anything about the video game and I don't know where, usually as a theme when I'm beginning to learn is that they usually run a short video of, characters and stuff. At least that's what itty bitty tiny experience I have with that. I only remember the theme of Halo way back in the day because that's the only video game I ever played when I was younger. But I'm beginning to learn the difference between the themes, menu music, or music that you use to, choose the helmets or the gear and stuff that that you do when you're playing video games. So anyhow, thank you so much. I have so much more coming up. I have tracks listed here from Journey, or The Journey, I think it's called, and so much. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for just even visiting and enjoying a few minutes here with whatever it is that I do that maybe brings a little smile to your face, and also your fantastic comments. It's unbelievable how intense some of these comments are and how much the music moves so much of video game players and their awareness of it. That's really super, super cool. All right, guys, listen, that's enough. You guys take care of yourself. See you when I see you.